It's the Tiger Sports Live Breakdown Podcast brought to you by Crossbuck Construction Company. Now, here's your hosts, Scott Barrett and Brian Babcock.
Greetings and salutations. Week 10, Jigo. Week
Whoa.
10.
It's going quick, hasn't it?
Weren't we doing a preseason
Jeez,
podcast talking
like
about our question marks with the cornerbacks and the quarterbacks? Yeah. I mean, that just seemed like it was 3 weeks ago, man. But we're week 10. Liberty Center heads to Archbold for a what you got to believe is the best game of the year in the league.
Yep.
You thought maybe PH, you thought maybe Delta. Both those games had moments, but Liberty took control. I think this Archbold team, they're sitting at 8-1, and they're sitting with 7 consecutive wins.
One loss to a St. Henry team
and it was a tight loss.
That just has one loss to Marion Local. So
I mean,
good.
So their loss is good. They beat Genoa.
Yeah.
You know, they've had a good schedule. This Archbold team, I watched a lot of snaps. We were talking about it. They're number 1 in Region, I believe, 22, and they're number 2 in Division 6. You don't get to those lofty heights unless you've won some big games. They've beaten Genoa, which is number 2 I think the number 2 team in Region 18 right now.
I think you're right.
In Division 5, Genoa. Got into a shootout with Tenora. That was a good ball game. And then they've just started, they beat, this is a come-from-behind group. We're going to get into David Dominic real quick. So Liberty Archbold this week, going to be really good football game. It's playoff time. It's a playoff football game. Liberty looking for their 4th consecutive league championship. The last 6 league titles have been either won or shared by these two teams. Archbold has outscored their opponents 331 to 149. David Dominic in his 11th season, a preeminent offensive coach. We had Brian Miller here earlier, who was the head coach prior to David Dominic, offensive innovator. David, super creative. This Archbold team in his 11 years, 88-32. That's approaching 70%, Jigs.
Mm-hmm.
The 24 team wasn't as good. They were 6-5. We put it on them pretty good, but they had 3 come-from-behind wins. I think that was notable that last year, and they've had multiple come-from-behind late wins. Delta PH, the most notable.
Yep.
Late behind, almost the Cardiac Kids, the old Cardiac Kids, Sam Bertigliano, Cleveland Browns. Old Frank Streeter would like that.
Oh, yeah, he would.
So this is an offense that is impressive, scoring 331 points. A lot of big wins here for them. Like I said, you defeated Genoa in a really good football game. I got a chance to look at that film, 33-28. The Delta PH games were clutch, come-from-behinders.
Yep.
And lost a close game. You talked about it to St. Henry. This team is really good on offense. This is the best team we've seen on offense all year. That's taken Patrick Henry into consideration.
Eastwood, probably better than Eastwood, too.
Oh, I think they're better than Eastwood. And I think Eastwood offensively in the passing game might be a little better, but total offense.
Yeah.
This Archbold team is real good, and David Dominic's real good calling it. So Archbold, Liberty Center for a league championship. I think Liberty's on 44 straight victories regular season. I think that's right. 33 NWOAL. Casey Mueller gets his 100th last week. Liberty's been ranked number 1 in the state for several weeks now. It's going to be a good ball game here, Jago.
Yeah, it is. I've kind of been excited about this one. It looked like earlier in the season, I watched them against Eastwood, kind of in prep for that Eastwood, and they did not look great in that scrimmage against Eastwood. Then you see them get beat by St. Henry, and you're like, oh, okay, maybe Archbold's down, but well, look what St. Henry's gone and done the rest of this year. And then you've seen them down 2 scores against Patrick Henry, down maybe 2 scores against Delta, at least down 7 against Delta, and had to come back late and have late drives to kind of secure those wins. So this is a team that is, got a lot of momentum throughout this season. I think if you just look at their roster, it's heavy in sophomores and juniors. They do have some seniors, but this is a sophomore junior laden team. But when you have that, young teams sometimes take some time to get going, and I think you've seen that throughout this season, the way they've kind of built up towards the end of the year. So, a lot to like on offense. You mentioned, kind of liking their offense as well as anyone we've played. I think you're right. I mean, the quarterback can run it. He can throw it. He's got a big arm. He takes care of the football. I've liked Ryder Ryan for 2 years now. I thought he was pretty explosive running back last year. He's one of the better backs in the league. He's a guy that's just a good running back, and then they screen him a lot, and he's very effective there. And then they got 3 wide receivers that can go get open at any time. So I think this skilled group is as good as any that we have seen on offense this year.
David Dominic's going to scheme you up, too. He's going to put him in shotgun. He's going to go a little hurry up. He's got a couple deep threats.
Yeah.
This is the most exquisite screen game you're going to see.
Yeah.
This screen game is fabulous, and it's not just, wow, that was a great screen. He's got 7 screens, and you say to yourself, well, they're going to run a screen because it's 3rd and +5. We're going to send a blitz. That's not what they do.
Right.
The screen game is a little bit like how we run 0-1 trap. It's very fundamental to their offense.
Yep.
You know.
And you don't know where it's coming from.
You don't. They got it from the slot. They got it from the wide receiver. They got it from the tight end. They got it from opposite the traditional running back. They can do it from the wide receiver position. 28 snaps I charted. They had 4, maybe 5 screens. They all were different, and it wasn't always against pressure.
Right.
You know, you're running screens against pressure. You're running draws, all that. They're running screens as a fundament, like we're running powers and traps, and that's impressive. They also like running speed option. Their quarterback, I think, is really impressive. A guy that had to battle Maddox Pinner, a 6-foot sophomore. And if you watch him on Huddle, he sits there in the pocket, and he's got a big arm on him. And he hits Morgan Harris down the field, and Morgan's 6'3", and great hands. And
wins a lot of 50-50 balls.
I mean, he just goes up and wins them, and he's going to have an advantage with his height over our corners straight up. We don't have Grady Miller anymore, and our corners have been great, but they are going to get tested.
Yeah.
This Maddox Pinner cat, if you watch him, he throws it on the run. He's very athletic, really good with his legs. You said it, I didn't. He runs the ball effectively.
He does. Yep.
He's got a couple hundred yards on 15, 16 carries. Mobile, athletic. He throws it deep on the run. He sits in the pocket and makes reads if you let him. If you're going to sit back and cover 8, he's going to pick you apart because they'll just dink and dunk you down. They'll swing it, screen it, drag it. They're not running 9 cuts all day long. No. They're not running, flags all day long.
Right.
They'll be content if you give it to them. So I think this offense, Jigs, when you look at it, I mean, it is. I look at the keys and I'm looking at the film. Where do you want to focus on? You have to focus on a lot of things.
Yeah, you do. Well, and we talked about in prior weeks when you play against some of these league teams, there is a predictability. When you watch enough film, you see a formation, you see something, and you know what's coming.
A delta.
You know what's coming. And this team, you can't do that. I'm watching film. I'm like, I don't know what they're doing here. I don't know. And they're not very predictable, and they can run so many different screens, and they can get you the dink and dunk, and then they can run deep, and they can run the football. So I like the skill group. I mean, this wing, Anderson Bentley, he's a sophomore. He's a guy that they'll drag across. They'll use him in the passing game.
And he's
a lot.
physical and
he's
after yards after catch.
Yes.
Like they'll screen him up for 4 or 5 yards, and then you got to get him to the ground.
Yes.
He lowers the shoulder. He finishes forward. I think he's a weapon.
Yeah,
he also is a very good blocker in the run game.
Yeah, I like him a lot. You mentioned Morgan Harris kind of winning the 50-50 balls, a deep threat. And then the Krieger kid, number 2, he's the speed guy, kind of that screen guy underneath, and he can turn it up and go. So I like the skill sets of this offense. And you mentioned Dominic and just his creation and his creativity and his mind. He does a great job of keeping teams off balance. Defensively, we saw last week how effective our blitzing of our linebackers was against Wauseon. They just had no answer, right? I think against this Archbold team, you got to be careful because you go and you blitz two different linebackers. They're going to screen right behind you, and that can be a big play if you vacate an area. So I'll be real interested to see kind of our game plan if we're just rushing 3 and we're going to sit back and try to play zones, or how we're going to bring coverage against this offense.
David Dominic is known as an offensive guru. I think he's done a tremendous job there. 88 wins in 11 years. Casey's got 109, but I think when you think through all the matchups that we've been through with Archbold, the playoff games, the epic games, I think over there in 22 they buried us 41-7. We came back and got them 38-35 or 35-32 in a playoff game at Napoleon. This has been a good game. They don't have fear of us.
No.
They've beaten us. They've beaten us in big games. They've been right there to beat us in losses. So this game hasn't, other than last year, I think last year was we got them pretty good. But you talked about their roster being young, but they're good. Their roster is younger. And you talked about maybe next year being the peak year, and that you might be right. Their offensive line is relatively inexperienced, but they're 5'11", 220. It reminds me a little bit of what we saw at Otsego. Maybe not the most powerful downhill drive you out of spots, but
right.
they keep Pinner clean for the most part. They pick blitzes up. They'll keep Bentley tight to chip on pass rushers like the PH pass rusher, and then slip him, and there's your 12 yards, a little slip screen. Like, they chip and screen as well as any high school team I've seen. So the offensive line isn't going to dominate the line of scrimmage. But I agree with you when you start breaking down Ryder Ryan. You have talked about Ryder Ryan the whole year. Like, we're trying to find backs at Delta and PH and all these, and you're like, Ryder Ryan's the number 2 back.
Yeah, I like it.
Behind Garrison Cruz. He is good. He runs it hard. He hits the hole well. He's got good vision. He can break it away from you.
He
can, and he catches the ball well. He's as dynamic of a running back. That's why I like Archbold so well. I get really afraid of screens and swings and drags. It scares me to death because you match up against – you're not going deep where corners can read and Ethan's got you locked in, or, Isaiah's played so well, and our corners have been really good. Sniper's even really good. But I think these guys have a lot of options, and I think David Dominic schemes up against teams. He looks really different against St. Henry than he did against Delta.
Yeah.
He just created really good game plans and utilizes his talent very well.
Yeah, and I watching that Patrick Henry game, they had some success running against Patrick Henry's front.
They did.
And I kind of watched that. I'm like, okay, well, they can run the football then, because we know how good that defensive front was for Patrick Henry. But yeah, you're right. I think the key is defensively for us is tackling in space. Got to tackle in space, and it's some of the recognition of some of these screens, getting there for a lineman, be able to get back and get into play. Snipers on these receiver screens to be able to jump them. It's going to be really important to tackle in space in this game.
I talked a little bit about what I think coaches. We don't do spreads. This is in Vegas. We don't we don't talk about point totals, but there are coaches that do a good job, and they bring their team in and they play you, and they're committed. Like Otsego, good staff. Delta, good staff. Like you mentioned, though, not a lot of surprises. It's an execution base, kind of like Rex at the end of his career. 35 power is there if you block it right. Well, there's 4 guys in that hole. Block it right. Oh, okay. Rex was so committed. That's what made him so good, and I think that's where Mike Vickers, and I think that's what that group at Otsego's doing. I saw it in their junior high game and their freshman games. Are just committed to it, which is really great. But at the same time, David Dominic's not that guy. He's not committed. 3rd and 8, we're going to run power. They got a whole playbook.
Yeah,
I think David is worth 4 to 6 points. They're at home. Archbold's at home.
Yep.
And I think the sting of last year's beatdown is hanging. And they're playing for something, Jigs.
Yeah.
You know what that's like. You've done that. I've done that when you're playing for something. Archbold got me twice, 87, 88. We're playing for everything. Title, trip to the playoff. That matters. He's good. They got a lot they're playing for. It's at home. They got a chance to win a league title. Talk about the mentality a team has when you have all that on the line. This is all on the line right here for Archbold.
Yeah, and I think it's a team that's got some confidence
for sure.
For some
7
come from behind wins
in a row.
When you come back on Patrick Henry and Delta the way that they did, it's got to be a team.
Those were losses, man.
Yeah,
those games were losses.
That's right, and they found a way. They found a way to come back and win. So
had 3 of those last year. So I think this group here that they got on paper, they've been doing this. This is not. You're going to get in a close game against Archbold. They're not losing close games.
And you're right. This is for a league championship. At the end of the day, that means something, and there's going to be a little bit extra juice from the Archbold side because of that. Some of these younger kids, you can tell, like I said, they're just getting better. they're getting better. If you just watch the film from their first game to now, his team's gotten a lot better. But Liberty Center's coming down too, and they're pretty motivated. And
Wait.
They're playing.
Do we have to talk about Liberty Center?
They're playing pretty good.
We talk about Liberty
offense
Center.
and defense and special teams right now.
I can just see Hunter Spangler going, "Hey Barrett, you're going to talk about us? I mean, we're pretty good too over here." Casey's probably watching this like, turn it down, not whatever. Listen, I think our job here is to talk about the opponent.
Yes.
We're going to get into Liberty Center and what we did to Wasion and what we've been doing all year. We've done that. We do that.
Right.
This is cool. This Archbold team is
yes.
He'll run a speed option at you, bro. That's a whole different set of rules and keys than running a 3-4 wide quarterback that sits in a pocket.
Yep.
They're 3 different teams.
Right.
Watsego was 1.
Yeah.
Eastwood was 1. Delta was 1. You see a little bit of variation, a little bit of multiple with Bill. This guy is all over the place.
Yeah.
And you played safety at the college level. You know how hard that is to go from downhill stop the run mode to, whoa, they're running 2 guys
That's
on
right.
9 cuts. Wait a second. It kind of slows your roll a little bit.
It does.
You don't play so free and downhill.
Yeah.
Because you got to play. So I think that when I look at some of this stuff the coaches are talking about, what Baxter talked about, yeah, Dad, we don't just get to pin our ears back.
No.
And that screen game will really slow you down.
Yep.
Because you don't want 4 guys up the field and all you got is a bunch of DBs down the field. Who's making that tackle against this big dude, Anderson Bentley?
Right.
I mean, where you at, Thomas Muller? You better be there because there's not a lot of dudes left.
Yeah.
So I think we don't probably give our guys enough credit. Nick Miller and Matt Bryan and Brad Howe and Todd Spangler are saying, guys, they're going to screen you to death. What is your keys on the screens? But talk about a team that can go into sprint option mode with speed versus a team that's going to sit in the pocket and throw it 70 yards.
Yeah.
Those are 2 different teams to me.
Yeah, well, it does. You mentioned it slows you down as a defender.
You got to calculate.
So it takes some
what are they doing
aggressiveness away
It
from
does.
a play calling standpoint and as a player. When you have so many things to – because you're right. When you play against a run, you're Thomas Muller or deep safety, man. Just watch your guard. Yep, he's pulling, and go. And there's no more questions, right? It's pretty easy to read. There's a lot going on, window dressing, motions, screens with this offense, and it can slow you down as a player and make you misread at times. And if you misread and get out of position, that's when a big play can happen.
You don't think David Dominic's got his eyeballs over Thomas Muller, who wants to stick his nose in a run game, and we're gonna send Morgan Harris down the numbers with no safety help.
Right.
Now I love our guys. Isaiah Badenhop, go. Ethan Gray, run with him. This dude's 6'3".
Yeah. Well, he's
And he
won a
can
bunch
jump.
of 50-50 balls.
And he can jump.
Yeah.
I mean, he's not 5'10".
Right.
I mean, Isaiah what is he, and what is Ethan? They're not 6'3". So you just got to believe that offensive staff is. There's some keys. Okay, 3 likes to stick his nose in it. Let's throw a little boom, little false key, and send this guy. I mean, I don't know. There's a lot of different things you can do with this quarterback. And I guess lastly, I just think his running ability, Jigs. He really throws it, and he throws it on the run. So he starts to run, and as a DB, your tendency is, I want to get up there and support that run.
Yeah.
But you cannot do that because he will stop it and throw it on the run 50 yards. I mean,
Right.
He really does have arm talent.
No, he does. He's got a really big arm, and I was surprised because I feel like he played a little bit last year as a freshman.
And he struggled a little bit this year.
Yes.
Rufinow has come in for him, who's mostly a run guy.
Right.
But he was not great at times and had to reestablish himself as the
But
starter.
man, the film that I watched,
Totally different
I
dude.
liked him a lot, and he can. You mentioned kind of given that run pass threat. If he gets out of the pocket, he puts you in a bad position. He can absolutely run it for a first down.
He can run.
Or
Move the
he can
chains.
throw it. So he's a good looking player. Only sophomore. He's only a sophomore, but he looks pretty good for a
He
sophomore.
doesn't look like a sophomore to me in the pocket. He's certainly grown. I think that adversity also having to battle for that job, I think that's really hardened him. Let's go to the defensive side of the football. Listen, we're not going to sit here and cut a team down. We're not going to sit here and say Archbold can't play defense, but they've, in their losses and their big games, I circled 5 that I really kind of focused on, and they give up 27 points a game. Mm-hmm. This Archbold team is going to give some points up.
Yep.
I think Liberty Center is extremely advantaged in the run game.
Yep.
And you know how that can be too, when you're just getting worn out. I thought the Delta game, Delta ran the football really well against them. Patrick Henry had really good success. St. Henry had good success. Genoa likes to run the football. I think they've had their hands full.
Yeah.
Their front have had their hands full, although they're fairly stout up front. Wyatt Klein, a 6'5", 240-pound sophomore. So he's got that physical ability, but is he ready? Is he ready to take on some of that stuff? I don't know. We'll see. I think this Braden Garcia, he can sit there and lock you out, and you ain't going to move him. There's some guys that can do some stuff, but they do give points up. I think Liberty Center is really advantaged in the run game here.
Yeah, watching Delta and Patrick Henry, they had sustained run success
and physical,
moving
bodies.
There was big holes,
moving bodies.
So you see that, and you're like, okay, I think we can have some success in the run game. But once again, you go back to the coaching staff, Archbold, how good they are.
They are.
Who knows what they're going to come in scheme wise, right? I mean, we've seen some teams do some different things than they're used to try to pick and choose. Are you gonna play the run and try to stop number 30 in the run game, or are you gonna just continue to let us just jam you with the run game, and then we can do the play action off it? So I wouldn't be surprised to see some 8-9 guys in the box, man up on the outside, and let's give it a shot. And let's just see.
I think Archbold feels like they can match up out there. I think they really feel like this is. I think that's the strength of their football team.
Yes,
really good corners
athletes.
and safeties.
They do.
They do. Now I don't know what they look like in the box. I think we're not going to see an even front, couple linebackers and like some safeties. They're going to have to bone up and get heavier.
Yeah.
I don't know what the depth looks like. I didn't chart the depth. I know that they're really athletic, 175, 185, maybe in those sniper safety roles. They got one free safety on top, which is good. Couple cover corners. I think they feel really good about the athleticism. I just don't know if they've taken that kind of
right.
And you see our guys blocking downfield. I mean, our guys are just getting. They do the job at level 1, and they're just dying to get to touchdown blocks. I'm not sure that Archbold. I don't know that I saw a ton of it at Bryan. I didn't see a ton of it at St. Henry. I think we do it as well as anybody in the state of Ohio in a lot of divisions, not just Division 5.
Yep.
Getting down the field and covering corners and safeties to give our guys big gains. I do think Delta, by the way, did a good job against 30. I think Garrison Cruz was controlled. Then everything else, all hell broke loose everywhere else. Archbold might think they've got the formula to lock us down in the pass game and go after 30. Okay, now what's left? Well, we have some good secondary weapons to talk about, and we'll get into that after the break. But I think this defense is vulnerable.
Yes,
the Archbold defense is vulnerable.
I agree.
And I don't know that I don't know that they can stand up. You can add guys in the box too. You don't have an answer.
It doesn't matter.
You don't have an answer for Kellen Weimer. You don't have an answer for Hunter Spangler.
Right.
Sawyer Bachman's a guy that's no fun to block. Who's your answer for Max Walker?
Right.
Deegan Swag. You can go down the line. We'll go back. I mean, I just think if you win individual matchups and how many wins our guys can get per snap and how many wins they're going to get on defense, that's a dominating scoreboard on wins on snaps. Our front seven, their front seven. Am I missing anything there?
No, you're not missing anything.
Okay, so there's not a lot of deep analysis there. 27 points per game they're giving up. In their losses, they get carved up a little bit, and I think our staff sees that. I think they give up. They're doing good things on defense. I think when you take into consideration some of the weaker teams are giving more like 16 points per game, but that's not what we're talking about in meaningful games. Genoa, PH, Delta, St. Henry, and Tenora, 27 points a game. All right, that'll do it for the first half of the Crossbuck Construction podcast here. We're going to come back and we're going to talk about what Archbold has to do to beat Liberty and what Liberty has to do to be Archbold. I do want to flash back a bit after the break and talk a little bit about the Wauseon game a little bit, and we'll wrap up on how we get this thing done.
Crossbuck Construction Company, providing exceptional quality for our clients for over 20 years. Call 419-966-9341 for details. Demolition. We handle the tough stuff so you don't have to. Our demolition service is all about safety and efficiency. Whether it's old concrete, asphalt, or structures, we've got the tools and the skills to clear the way for your new projects. Hauling services. You have debris? We'll take it away. Our hauling service with our dump trucks are ready to remove and transport materials from your site, making your construction or cleanup projects hassle-free. Residential Concrete. Your home deserves the best. We provide top-notch concrete services for driveways, sidewalks, patios, and more. Expect a perfect finish every time, adding value and curb appeal to your home. Commercial Concrete. Strong foundations for your business. Our commercial concrete services are tailored for durability and precision. From large foundations to flat work, we ensure your commercial space stands on solid ground. Excavating and site prep. Digging done right. Our excavating services are all about precision and care, whether it's for foundations, landscaping, or drainage installations. We ensure your ground is prepared perfectly for what's next. Drainage Solutions. Keep water away the right way. Our drainage solutions are designed to protect your property from water damage. We assess, plan, and implement effective drainage systems, ensuring long dryness. Here's some of our Crossbuck construction statistics. 55 years of experience, 1,216 yards of concrete poured, and over 3,000 tons of material moved. Call Crossbuck Construction at 419-966-9341 for details, or go to Crossbuck.co to get a free quote.
The Archbold game, Jigs, is so compelling. I've just got pages and I want to go. I want to talk. I want to get in it. We kind of got in it there for 20 whatever minutes. A big thank you to Nate Leidy, Erica Leidy, and Crossbuck Construction for sponsoring the show. It's been awesome. I know they're getting work. We're giving them more work. They're going to come out and quote some pads and they're going to move some trees for me. So just a great group of Crossbuck Construction, and they're a big part of the Tiger family, and we're just grateful that you're there for us. I did want to touch upon the Wauseon effort because I do think there's some things that connect last week to this week. And obviously, we looked at Wauseon. We saw some threats. It did not take long to neutralize those threats. Garrison Cruz, an early pick, turned them over 5 times. Could have been 7. But they recovered a couple of their own fumbles. Spike did a good job of kind of laying out the practice week. Don't lose focus. All business. We're not practicing to be Wauseon. We're practicing against the toughest schedule in the country and what we want to do at the state level. Not that they were overlooking. I don't think you overlook anybody when you're trying to practice to beat the best team in the state. I think it's Wauseon just happened to be in our way. And talk about the defensive start to that game. Wow. That just set the tone. It was 21-0 before the 8-minute mark.
Yeah, it was unbelievable. I mean, the amount of pressure this defense can put on you with, the front 3 and these athletic linebackers, that front 7, they can just get on you quick.
What are you looking
before you even know what hit you? Okay, that quarterback had
nothing,
no shot. I mean, he's turning around and he is just running for his life.
What does that look like? What does that got to look like when number 18 on the snap? The snap count, and you're just trying to get in a play, and 18 is in your face mask. Yeah, that happened a number, and it's demoralizing. How in the heck does he get from there to there faster than my guy gets out on a route?
Made my fake. I'm turning around, and he's right there. He's like the boogeyman out here.
Is that film study with Eric Weimer? Is that just explosive athleticism? Is that just Wauseon breaking down, or is that everything? Because
I think it's a combination of all 3.
Because that just what Jackson Mark, did he win?
Yeah,
Man of Steel? Okay, I think he won that in quarter 1.
Yeah, you did.
But just some of the stuff when you're a coach watching that, what do you say about 30 is well documented? I think that Mr. Football in Ohio, that is not off the table for Garrison Cruz. And then you got 50 sitting in there saying, just please run in the A-gap. Yeah. Just run in here for me. Do it for me. Not even for yourself. Max Walker's just come here. But then you got 18 sitting out here who doesn't probably get the pub as 30 gets, and maybe 50 because he's so dynamic. But 18 looks like Lawrence Taylor to me.
Yeah, he was
crazy, and it's been good all year.
All over.
What was that? What was that about, dude? But what do you say when you're watching that? I watched that. That's ridiculous what Jackson Lonzak did last week.
Well, you just imagine watching as an opposing coach an offensive coach, just like, okay, where do we start here? Okay, you're gonna drop back to pass. You got about 2.5 seconds, maybe 2. You're gonna run the ball against his front 7, Max Walker up the middle, and C. Fuentes and Weimer and Spangler. That's not a good recipe there. Nobody's really run the ball on us. And then you start to look in the secondary, and there's no holes anywhere. Like if you just watch Liberty Center on an area to exploit, it's just, where do you start? Where do you start? And these linebackers are just flying around. I mean, Gary had the pick. Lonzak had the pick. He was blitzing, just blowing the game up.
And he had a ball where he tipped and just inches away from a pick six again.
Yeah, he's playing it up. You mentioned him as just a Division I athlete, and I see it. I'm like, okay, that's a guy that he's probably 6'2", 205, 210. He can probably gain 20 pounds and keep his speed and be a fringe D1 guy. I think he could, because you just watch the way he moves and his explosiveness. And he's this chess piece. You got him and Gary. You just move them guys around and blitz them. And
I don't think there's answers for those two dudes.
No.
I mean, you can put 4 guys on Mad Max and maybe get a hold of Max Walker. I don't know that you can get guys on these guys. Can you get guys to these guys? They're faster than your guys. And I'm not just talking against Wasion.
Yeah. Yes.
Let's go Ironton.
Right.
Let's go
South
Range. Let's get it. I think the Cardinal Mooney. You want some? These two have that.
Yeah.
I'm not saying we win those. I'm just saying those two dudes are different.
Yeah. Well, we've been talking about this linebacker core the last several years. You had the Cruz duo with Waylon.
Well,
you had Waylon and Max and Gary last year,
right.
And now you get these 3. It's like, you just think back, just historical. How good are these guys? Man.
I don't know that we can get Trenton and Colton Cruz kind of reset the dial. To nasty.
Yes.
You were a part of the nasty era.
The
Rex Lindgren. It was not a nice time for people when you played. I know it wasn't nice when I played. And we got into better, but it was nicer for a little bit.
Yeah, right.
These two dudes,
Back to the Future.
And I give Trent and Colton a ton of credit, and not that their brother Landon wasn't elite. 8 interceptions.
No,
and he
Landon was great too.
And you loved him.
Landon
loved
was great.
him.
Yeah.
But those guys reset the dial to nasty. The Nate Bears and I go through and the Toby Lays and Ross McLaughlin. These are nasty people. Eric Weimer, nasty. So Colton and Trenton, you have my respect. But these two dudes are different.
Yeah.
They're hard to block. They're faster than your guys on offense. A lot of times they're in your quarterback's face. They can play the run. They can play the pass. They can play it any way you want to play it. I mean, I really think that what Jackson Lonzak did last week, he's been doing a little bit of. We saw a lot more last week.
Yeah. Well, and we talked in the beginning of the year of where is our pressure going to get? Where are we going to get pressure from? You just look at Spangler and Weimer body types. They're not a explosive defensive end TJ Watt type. They're not those type of players. Very good players.
Cam Haywood, more like a Cam Haywood. That's
exactly.
What he looks like.
So where is
Spangler
your explosion in your pass rushing ability going to come from? Well, that's been answered, because you got either guy you can just pick and choose on these blitzes, and they are right now before the plays ever developing and just wrecking games.
I also think that Lonzak has the ability when he reads screens. I mean, I think Garrison's had a lot of snaps. I think Max Walker is high IQ. These linebackers get no credit for high IQ. I think all 3 of them are real smart dudes. And if you look at their huddle time that they log watching film, it's a lot. So it's not just showing up, padding up, and showing all my stuff. It's they're doing the work, because you can just tell. They grade out so highly.
Yep.
Now, I'm not saying Archbold won't get us on some screens, but even if they get us, I like those guys catching up and getting to it. You know,
right?
So I just, like I said, I do want to make a public apology to the Lonzaks. They're close friends of mine. My son has grown up with Jackson, and we can't get that right. Mark, the captain, is just like going, guys, Guys, we're going to fire you. We are going to fire you if you can't say Lonzak. Like, he never made that mistake either. But so it is Jackson Lonzak, and it's actually Mr. Lonzak. But so the Wauseon game, that unfortunately it didn't quite show like we had hoped. We were hoping to get something out of Wauseon, and they obviously a coach in trouble, a program in a little bit of trouble, and they played like it.
Yeah.
And I really kind of thought they could do some stuff, and they did absolutely nothing. I mean, I can't think of 3 plays that I walked away. Well, there it is. There it was. I didn't get that. Did you?
No.
That game was in the bag in the first 4 minutes.
It was.
I mean, I didn't even see the interception by Garrison. Did you see that?
I think it was the first play of the game.
Did you see that? I don't know that I even saw that.
I honestly, thinking about what to talk about today, that game was like a blur. I'm like, did Ethan Gray have a pick? I can't remember.
Was that a pick that week or the week before?
I know.
It just happened so quickly. You know, they just came in and they stole your heart and left. Like stealing your girlfriend. Liberty Center, big win over Wauseon. Let's finish this podcast. It's going to be a great game. I can't wait. At Archbold. We're on the road. I think that matters. I don't know. I just think home teams, and I think Liberty's played really well at home.
They have.
And we're comfortable at home.
Yep. We
know where the restroom's at. You know, we know where to sit. There's all of our family. Different over there. You know, it's unfortunate. Archbold built a new school or built a new football area and some additional buildings, and it's the middle of nowhere. There's no character.
Yeah.
Spangler Field was so
I love Spangler Field.
Steeped in tradition.
The evergreens. Just the trees around there.
And I just long for the days of Spangler Field, and I am so glad we have such a great facility. We kept the school here, and the administration, the school board, you know, Hug and Richie and those guys just really invested in that place.
Yeah.
And it is obviously the church is the most important place in your community, but that might be a close second. That is the football holy place. And I just don't know that how a new stadium would have looked out there.
Yeah, right.
And it would look like Archbold.
It's the complex.
They're just
keeping
not
it all
there.
in the complex.
It's just not there, and I just hate that. I'm sitting in Archbold, and I remember all those great games we played against them, and it's just not good. I mean, it's nice. The stands are okay, and they got a nice this and that. It's just there's no character there.
Yeah.
Trains running. They got the big, what is that thing? The big fan or wheel or what? The windmill. I can't even know the name. Windmill over there.
Let's get some evergreen.
Can we plant
trees?
a tree? They got like 4 shrubs in the back by the restroom. It's like
a couple trees.
So that disappoints me. And if Archbold fans hear me, dig a hole, something.
Get some trees. You got to get some character around.
And there's again, so blessed that we decided to keep the school in our football field because that's the doorway to our community. You stick it out in the middle of some farm country, a little bit like what Archbold has or Evergreen, there's nothing there. There's nothing to talk about. And we have an awesome place to play. But I think in a weird way, that's an advantage for them because they do it every day.
Yeah.
We don't have that. We get to practice here. We get a little turf. We get a little grass. We get our stadium, which is elite. But that might be an advantage for them. Because we have not played well there at times.
Right.
Talk about what that looks like. As the ball comes down at you differently when it's kicking and those different things. So they have a comfort level. You don't.
Yeah.
That doesn't feel all that football community there. It doesn't feel that way in that stadium. Talk about what that means to you as a player.
No, that absolutely affects you as a player. I remember
the trains
vividly.
running there. Are you is it weird?
I remember vividly the different league going to opposing and feeling comfortable at certain ones.
Yeah.
And others you're just like, this just does not feel like we should be playing football out here.
Right.
I'm in the middle of a cornfield. Like, can we just? So you're right. That does play into the psyche of an individual player. Now, you know, this coaching staff has done a great job of getting this team up, getting this team ready to go. And I don't think there's going to be any extra motivation coming into this one. Just everything that's on the line in a team that's.
But I think there's when you're looking for marginal advantages
sure,
that
yes.
Archbold has.
I
That's
think
marginal.
So.
That's a marginal advantage that they have.
Yes,
right?
I agree with that.
So I look at that. I don't want to make it that big of a deal. Maybe it sounds like I am, but I don't know. We've been in our stadium. Has it been 7 home games or something? Has it been 6 home games?
6.
I mean, Rex Lindgren Stadium, Kip
No
Curran
better,
Field.
no place better than home.
As Spike would say, it gets no better. It just gets no better, and now you got to go on the road and play there, and the fans are 600 miles from. It's like going to Bryan. Like you can't even see some of the numbers. You're so far away. All right, enough of that. Let's talk. Let's get to the end of this thing because I think we're excited for this matchup, and there's a lot to be excited for. How does Archbold beat Liberty Center? What do they have to do? Last week you talked about turnovers.
Yeah.
Wasion had 5 of them.
I know.
So it got him out of a game. But I don't think you're going to see a David Dominic coach team turn it over 5 times. So
No.
if Archbold's going to be Liberty, what do they got to do it?
Yeah, I think they got to win special teams.
And they're good on special teams.
They're
good
good
kicker,
on special teams.
flipping fields,
They
coughing
are good.
corners.
They got a good punter that can really punt it. They got to win on special teams. I think they just have to have sustained drives on offense. They got to possess the football. Can't go 3 and out. Cannot go 3 and out against Liberty Center. Give them the ball back and give them extra possessions because they just find ways to just bury you quickly. And they have to win the turnover battle. I've been saying that Liberty doesn't turn the ball over.
They don't.
I don't remember the last time we turned the ball over.
They don't.
I honestly don't. I don't remember. I thought about that today. I'm like, when's the last time we had a fumble or a pick? Yeah, I don't remember last
Which
time.
is a sign of a really good football program.
That's right. So you got to find a way to get extra possessions against Liberty Center because we are so explosive on offense and we can score so fast that you got to find 2, 3, 4 extra possessions because we are that good on offense and we can strike that fast.
I don't disagree with that. I think for Archbold to beat us, they got to get a couple plays over the top. I think they're going to have to win where they think they are advantaged. I think we are going to try to pressure the quarterback, especially when they're in their shotgun series. And I think that they're going to have to be really diverse. They're not going to be able to sit in the pocket against us because Matt Bryan will cover 8.
Yeah.
He'll force you to run, then we're going to absolutely just wreck you.
Yep.
And it's painful to get, and we love hitting quarterbacks. So if they're going to run Maddox Pinner, he's going to get hit.
Yep.
And that's not a good thing. And then now you go to your number 2 guy who's a good runner.
Yeah.
I don't know how badly he can beat you down the field, the Rufinall kid. I think they've got to win a couple balls down the field, and I think we'll see that very early. Mm-hmm. I think they can use their sprint option. If we're not on top of our keys, I think that is good for 3 or 4 first downs.
Right.
I don't know that they want to get Pinner in a lot of running situations against a team so physical.
Right.
There's a lot of violence. We talk about bringing violence, not illegal violence, but just tackling hard, bringing hats to the ball. I think we're going to do that. I don't know that Archbold can have sustained success running the football against us, but they're going to have to run the football. They can't sit a guy just so that sprint option, I think, is a very unique set of fundamentals and keys that Liberty has got to be aware of. They've got a couple different teams. We're going to have to see them. Archbold's going to have to be 2 or 3 things to beat us. Yep. But they can be. So, and the other thing I would say is I think they got to turn Liberty over at one time. An interception, they got to get one extra possession out of it because they're going to have to score on it. Mm-hmm. And I'm not talking about just flipping fields. I'm talking about they got to score and they got to keep scoring. I think to beat Liberty, because I don't like their defense. I don't think Archbold's defense can do that. No matter how many guys you commit to the line of scrimmage, Jigs, and how much confidence you got in the back end, Caden Kreinbrink can throw the football, and he can throw it all over the place. And you got weapons. We've been seeing these weapons, and it's like there's a bunch of dudes that can catch a ball. We have a lot of dudes and they're not just sitting out here.
Right.
They're not just sitting at the numbers. They're in the slots. They're in motion. They're switching before the snap. Trades, tight ends are they're moving. Casey's moving them all around, and you got Ryan Miller and those guys. You got Todd Spangler up in the booth going, that safety didn't follow that. That's open. Mm-hmm. They're just seeing everything. The coaching staff right on an edge. So I think Archbold hit the ball, deep ball, the sprint option, be a chameleon, don't get so predictable, and run that screen game to get yourself 4 yards. Ain't nothing wrong with 5 yards against Liberty Center. Yep. Delta tried to do it in one-dimensionally, and they couldn't. I think Archbold's multi-dimensional. I think that's their strength. How does Liberty beat Archbold? Same formulas, or do you have anything else?
Yeah, I think just continue to play the way they've been playing. I mean, this is just you turn the film on, and you just don't see holes in this Liberty Center team, and they just continue to play consistently on offense, defense, special teams, and they're going to be a tough out.
I mean, I do think the passing game for Liberty, you've seen a lot more of it.
Yeah.
It looks really good.
It does. I mean,
because Delta did a good job saying 30 ain't going to do it.
They did.
The whole game was 30 ain't going to do it.
Yeah. Well, Kreinbrink, his confidence, you can just see even from last year to the first game against Tenor, he was throwing it well, but he made some throws where like, ooh, yeah, he really wasn't seeing the defense. It's completely different now. He's seeing the defense. He knows what's going to happen, and he is not missing many targets when they're open. And he's got all day to throw. He's got all day to throw. This offensive line just keeps him upright, and he can sit back there and go through his progressions, and he's got a good enough arm to make people pay if you can keep him upright.
And he's got options. He doesn't have just to throw it to
No.
Ethan Gray. He can throw it to Isaiah.
Half the time, there's 3 guys open in these routes.
Well, and you know how this thing goes. Archbold's going to have to be on run. I mean, these linebackers and even everybody's going to have to come to the run game.
Yeah.
Because we're going to bring the run game. They're going to have to come to it. And that just gives Caden Kreinbrink a lot of play action, and which one. And what you don't realize is how fast Jackson Lonzak is.
Right.
Like, you think he's 6'1", 6'2", maybe he's got
He'll
two
run
steps
by
on your dude.
Safeties and corners, especially if you got a your safety. You're looking 30. You're reading guard. Uh-oh.
Over your right shoulder.
Oh, no, there he goes. And he's gone.
And then you got guys coming across the field, and Baxter Barrett that has had big gains, and you got Isaiah Badenhop he's kind of nasty speed.
Yeah.
He's kind of nasty. He can run away and win routes. So I don't know, as a defensive coordinator, and you're saying we got to control Liberty's run, that Liberty's kind of almost inviting you into that trap. Like,
yeah,
okay, come on in a little bit more. Where Rex would 0-1 you for the big gain, Casey will shotgun you and progression you, and Nick Miller will block you.
Right.
I mean, he says one sack. I don't know, 1 sack a year. I mean, I'm not saying we won't get sacked. I'm just saying that in our pass game is way better than I think people give us credit for. Liberty Center when you've been in a fight with your brother, and you're fighting and you're grabbing and you're throwing it, and then all of a sudden somebody connects to your face, and the guy, ooh, and then you get another one, and then another one, and then now you're bleeding, and now it hurts, and it's like, I can't.
How do I get out of here?
I can't. That's what this feels like. That it's just going to be in your face. How many blows can you take before you're like, let's get to the playoffs?
Right.
I'm done with this today. I think Liberty does bring that kind of physicality.
They do.
I think this offensive line is super nasty. I think the special teams, the coverage teams, I think they're doing it to you.
Yeah.
I think they're finding guys they want to really hit, and they want to tackle guys real hard, and I think all that physicality takes its toll. And how quickly will it take its toll against a highly skilled, younger, but way better Archbold team?
That's right.
So I think that, to me, we're always more physical. I'm sure we'll face more physicality as we get down the line. This matchup, I think, is all about that for us, Liberty Center and Archbold, for the league championship. This is for all the marbles. We wait for games like this,
Yes.
Jigs. We don't see as many games like this but this one is it, against a very good football coach and a very good program who has won. They haven't lost in 8 weeks. That's a couple months.
Yeah.
They have not tasted defeat. They're at home. There's just a lot of marginal advantages that I think David Dominic sees in this game, and it's going to really test Liberty Center. It's going to be, I think, their best test of the year. Very exciting. 7 o'clock on the road at Archbold, and when you won 44 straight games in the regular season and 33 league games, you're doing a few things right. Liberty Center. Going to be a good one, Jakes. I'm kind of excited. See you there.